For more than 1,000 years, one city stood as a beacon of civilization, a fortress of faith, a treasury of knowledge, and the heart of a magnificent empire. This was Constantinople, the city of the world's desire. It was a bridge between East and West, a symbol of immense power and the capital of the Byzantine Empire, the last remnant of ancient Rome. Its legendary walls, kissed by the waters of the Golden Horn and the Bosporus, had repelled countless invaders. For centuries, its golden domes shone under the sun, a testament to a legacy that seemed eternal. This was a city built to last forever, but forever has a way of ending. By the middle of the 15th century, the great Byzantine Empire was a shadow of its former self. Once stretching across 3 continents, its domain had shrunk to little more than the city itself and a few scattered territories. The grand palaces echoed with emptiness, the bustling markets grew quiet, and the formidable army was a mere fraction of its past glory. The empire was surrounded, an isolated island in a sea of change. The rising power of the Ottoman Empire, young, hungry, and ambitious, now pressed against its very gates. Constantinople was alone, a magnificent relic, powerful in spirit but weary and weak in strength. The flame of a 1,000-year empire was beginning to flicker, threatened by the winds of a new age. In this new age, a new leader emerged. Sultan Mehmed II, only 21 years old, ascended to the Ottoman throne. Unlike his predecessors, he was not content with merely containing the ancient city. He was consumed by a single, audacious dream to conquer the unconquerable. He saw Constantinople not just as a prize, but as his destiny. To him, it was the red apple, the ultimate symbol of world dominion. Mehmed was a brilliant strategist, a patron of the arts and sciences, and a relentless warrior. He poured his empire's resources into preparing for the ultimate siege. Massive cannons, the likes of which the world had never seen, were forged. A new fleet was built, designed to challenge Constantinople's naval supremacy. He gathered an army of immense size, driven by faith and the promise of glory. The young sultan was not just planning a battle. He was orchestrating the end of an era. The world was about to witness a clash of titans, the ambition of a new empire against the resilience of an old one. On April 6, 1453, the storm finally broke. The colossal Ottoman army, numbering in the tens of thousands, arrived before the legendary Theodosian walls. Inside the city, a small, defiant force of around 7,000 defenders stood ready. They were a mix of Byzantine soldiers, Genoese mercenaries, and ordinary citizens, united under their emperor, Constantine XI Palaiologos. He was a man who embodied the fading spirit of his empire, dignified, courageous, and determined to fight to the very last. For 53 days, the world held its breath. The Ottoman cannons, including the monstrous Basilica bombard, roared day and night, pounding the ancient stones. The walls, which had stood for a millennium, began to crumble. Yet, each night, the defenders would tirelessly work to repair the breaches, their defiance a miracle in itself. The air was thick with the dust of shattered stone and the constant echo of battle. For the people of Constantinople, trapped within their city, their only hope was for a miracle from God as they prayed for deliverance from the inevitable. The night of May 28th was heavy with a silent, profound sorrow. A strange, eerie fog enveloped the city, seen by many as a terrible omen. Within the hallowed walls of the Hagia Sophia, the great cathedral, Emperor Constantine XI gathered his commanders and the people for one final service. Christians of all denominations, who had been divided for centuries, prayed together as one. The emperor spoke not as a ruler, but as a brother, asking for forgiveness and inspiring his people to face their destiny with courage. Throughout the city, candles were lit and families held each other close. Outside, the Ottoman camps were uncharacteristically quiet, as soldiers rested for the dawn. Sultan Mehmed had promised his men the city, and he knew the final assault would decide everything. As dawn approached on May 29, 1453, a deafening roar shattered the silence. The final attack had begun. Wave after wave of Ottoman soldiers hurled themselves at the battered walls. For hours, the defenders fought with desperate heroism, but their numbers were too few. Finally, at a small, unguarded gate, the Ottoman flag was raised. The cry spread like wildfire, the city was breached. As the invaders poured through the gaps, the city was lost, and an empire died. Sultan Mehmed II entered the fallen city not with the fury of a destroyer, but with the quiet awe of a conqueror who understood the weight of history. He rode through the grand avenues, witnessing the immense beauty and the tragic ruin. His primary destination was the Hagia Sophia. Dismounting his horse, he walked into the great cathedral, stooping to scoop a handful of earth and sprinkle it over his turban, a gesture of humility before God. He saw its breathtaking magnificence and declared that it would be preserved, converted into a mosque to serve as the spiritual heart of his new capital. He renamed the city Istanbul, a name that symbolized a new beginning. He promised to protect the remaining citizens and invited people from all over his empire to come and repopulate the city. It was a transition of power marked by a vision for the future. The conqueror understood that he had not just taken a city, he had inherited a legacy. In the ashes of one empire, he laid the foundations for another. The fall of Constantinople was more than just the end of a siege. It was a turning point for the entire world. It marked the definitive end of the Middle Ages and the collapse of the last living link to the Roman Empire. Scholars fleeing the city carried with them priceless ancient manuscripts to Italy, fueling the intellectual fire of the Renaissance. The old trade routes to the east were now controlled by the Ottomans, forcing European explorers to seek new sea routes, which would lead to the Age of Discovery and the mapping of a new world. The event sent shockwaves through Christendom and shifted the global balance of power forever. Today, Istanbul stands as a vibrant, sprawling metropolis, a city where continents and cultures meet. The Hagia Sophia, with its layered history, still stands proudly, a symbol of the city's complex past. The fall of Constantinople was not just an ending. It was a violent, dramatic, and profound beginning. It was a story of courage in the face of impossible odds, the relentless drive of ambition, and the unstoppable march of history. Empires may rise and fall, but their stories echo through time, reminding us that every age is shaped by moments of great struggle, faith, and the eternal quest for destiny. Thank you for joining us on this journey through history. If you found this story as fascinating as we did, please like this video, and subscribe to our channel for more deep dives into the moments that shaped our world. We'll see you next time.